Never ignore a poem. Even the worst poetry is someone's piece of heart which is offered to the reader with the hope for a minimum amount of tenderness. Disagree with a poem. Never disregard one. This is Sunil Bhandari, and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. Miles apart. You are a distance, and yet a feeling. There are miles ready to drown our realities, as we are not ordinary or ordinary life. Then what are our definitions, the summary, the things we like to box with 4x3 cards? Are we just riders on the rain, or the pause beneath the storm, a chance to be a sphinx or create a rainbow to last a dream? I tell you of stars collapsing into neutrons, of space flights ending in black holes, of gurus who leave screaming, of lovers who calcify. I have been fleeting, you've kept pace, pulling me back, keeping me beside. You say you don't mind my bells and whistles, as long as there's a place called we. I see a moon from my window and wonder if it threw light on your bed, and I see a bird perched on a pole, and I join it to sway in the wind. You will fly here to hold my hand, to say we are Zen masters of time and sin. When our lives are so full of portents, maybe we are the midpoint, never the end game. I have always wondered about those who are in love and stay cities away from each other, and colleagues who are ready to stay apart for their careers. And I am gobsmacked at how they make it happen. I have asked several of them about it, and the answer is always accompanied by a sigh, and the answer, life. As if what determined their choices was something out of their control, which was of course both true and not true. But I was more interested in how they made it happen, how they kept their feelings of tenderness and care alive, how did they show their best and their worst to each other, how could they bridge the gap of physicality and touch, all the ingredients which are so essential for a relationship to breathe and exist. Can sulking have the same impact across Zoom? How can kissing on phones substitute for the real thing? Without a body beside you, do you slowly start preferring your solitary conquering of the bed? Whom do you turn to when nightmares or worse crises hit you? Do you discover that an empty home has teeth and too many dark corners? Does a conjoined love story finally find its own solitary life story? It is easy to promise to each other that you are the start and the end of a tie, that when the moonbeam hits the pillow beside yours, you are filled with an ache which just doesn't go. Because distances erode, because nothing can substitute the look of an eye, the deep hidden ring of a guffaw, the comfort and continuing thrill of a safe and familiar touch. We are finally physical people who flower in presence. There is one sun in the sky to fill the world with its nourishment, but one in our lives to fill us with a glow and nurture so essential for our souls. However much our hearts are full of what we mean for each other, there's a point where our yearning will ask a question. And with great chagrin, we will discover that the answers are no longer clear. This is Sunil Bhandari, and you are listening to Uncut Poetry. If you enjoyed this poem, rate it on Spotify or leave a comment on Apple Podcast. And I have a lovely newsletter called The Uncuts, which is like a Sunday dollop of warmth and fun and beauty. subscribe to it. The link is in the show notes. And if you loved this episode, please do share it with someone you love. See you next week.